This is a 2020 Toyota Corolla Hybrid, which is sort of a curious thing because in the past, if you wanted a hybrid little Toyota, you got a Prius. And if you wanted a regular little Toyota, you got a Corolla. But now you can have both a Corolla with a hybrid engine. And today, I'm going to review it. Now, before I get started here, I have some news. People are always asking me for Doug DeMuro merchandise, t-shirts or hats or whatever, but I think that YouTuber t-shirts are kind of played out. And do people really wear t-shirts for their favorite YouTuber? I don't know. So I've come up with a different idea, signed photos. Right now you can go to dougdemuro.com, the link in the description of this video, and you can get a signed photo. You can choose between a few different cars and I will sign my name and send it out to you, which is kind of cool. Or for extra money, you can have a personalized signed photo, which I think is kind of a neat thing. You can get up to 90 characters and you can have it personalized. So you can have it say, happy birthday or congratulations, or I don't know what people are gonna wanna have it say, but I will write it and then I will sign it on a photo and send it to you. Now, there are a few rules. No profanity, obviously. The photos are all this size, no bigger, no smaller, just this size. Only the cars that I have selected you can choose from. And right now I'm only sending it to US people, United States addresses. Now, the cost of these photos is going to be $35 for the top one, the signed Doug DeMuro photo, and $50 for the bottom one, the personalized and signed Doug DeMuro photo. I realize that's a lot of money, but I also realized as I was putting this together that if I charge like $10 and I get hundreds and thousands of orders, then I'm gonna have to sit there writing all of this stuff since I'm handwriting it and signing it, so it's a little bit more expensive, maybe to try to limit the order intake a little bit. So anyway, go on dougdemuro.com, buy a signed or personalized Doug DeMuro photo, and I will send it out to you in the next few weeks. First, a little overview. Now, the Toyota Corolla has always been basic transportation for basic people. The kind of car you buy if you're the kind of person who leaves on your dealership license plate frame. But with the new generation, that has not changed at all. This car is not exciting, this car is not thrilling, and this car is not particularly interesting to look at. In fact, it kind of looks like a copy of this car and this car and this car and this car, all sort of rolled into one. But that isn't necessarily a bad thing. You see, there are millions of people out there who don't really care about cars, who just need simple, basic transportation. And the Corolla does it pretty well, especially the hybrid. This thing starts around $24,000. It gets more than 50 miles per gallon, and it has a relatively decent amount of features and interior room. You can buy this car, you can just drive it around, you never have to worry about it, and you can lose it in parking lots. With that said, I have to wonder why they came out with a Corolla Hybrid considering that they already sell the Prius. The Corolla Hybrid and the Prius use the same engine, they get roughly the same fuel economy, they cost within $1,000 of each other, and they sell to basically the same people. Did Toyota really look at the car market and all the SUVs being sold and all the trucks and all the other inefficient vehicles and think, I've got it, more hybrids? But I won't try to explain it, I'm just going to review it. So today, I'm going to take you on a tour of the Corolla Hybrid, then I'm gonna get it out on the road and drive it. Here goes. All right, I'm going to start the quirks and features in the trunk where you have a light bar. And not just any light bar, but a light bar that doesn't actually light up all the way across the back because that would have probably been too expensive for a car like the Corolla. So it just lights up here, and then it looks like it lights up in the middle, but it doesn't. Anyway, you pop the trunk open, and the trunk mat says Corolla on it, leaving absolutely no question which car you're loading your luggage into at the airport enterprise lot. Is this a Mazda 3? I should check the key. Oh, no, wait. It says Corolla right there. They did not cut corners on that trunk mat. They did in other places, but not there. And next up, moving on to the back seat of the Corolla. Oh, are there quirks and features back here? For example, the seat bottom is gray, but the middle of the seat back's a different gray. Look at that contrast. You've heard of 50 shades of gray. Well, the Toyota Corolla, two. And here's another really cool thing in the back. On the back of the front center console, you do not get climate controls or climate vents, but you do get a little hole where you can put stuff, and then you can watch it kind of fly out when this car accelerates hard and does its 9.5 second 0 to 60 pulse. So there is a lot of excitement going on back here. And next up, we move on to the front of the Toyota Corolla, and a fantastic feature up here. This car has 3 clocks. 1, 2, 3. They're all telling you what time it is, just in case you're starting to wonder. Corolla has you covered. And another wonderful feature up front. Take a look at the dashboard, and folks, it has a line across it. There is a line going from the passenger side climate vent all the way to the bottom of the center console. Look at that style. Corolla, again, has you covered. And since we're talking style, let's go back to those shades of gray. Once again, the seat bottom is one gray, the seat back is another gray, and the center console lid is a third gray. Actually, the center console lid and the seat back, I think that's the same gray. So, 2. But still, better than 1, maybe, if you're into multiple colored seats. And finally, we move under the hood, and this is where all the good stuff happens. This is the engine of the Corolla Hybrid. This is a 1.8 liter hybrid 4-cylinder. It makes 121 horsepower, and yes, anyway, it makes 121 horsepower and some torque number that I don't know. I haven't looked it up, but I will flash it on the screen. However, I'm just gonna tell you right now, it isn't significant. Now, one interesting quirk under the hood, you can see the Toyota emblem on the engine is lined in blue, which signifies that this is a hybrid. Regular Toyotas do not have the blue lining. Hybrids do. You've learned something today from the Corolla Hybrid. Okay, so with that out of the way, now it's time to drive the Corolla Hybrid. Now, obviously, as you can probably tell, I don't think this car is particularly exciting or enjoyable or quirky or anything like that. But in all seriousness, I do think there is a big place in the car world for cars like this. There are a lot of people who just want simple transportation, simple cars that go from one place to another. And it's hard to argue with the fact that this really is one of the best of those cars. The Corolla always has been. That's always been kind of its purpose in life. It's relatively cheap to buy. I can't believe you can now buy a 50 mile per gallon hybrid for only $24,000. It's got a lot of stuff. This thing has a relatively large infotainment screen with all sorts of features. It has Apple CarPlay, etc., etc. And it's totally inoffensive. There's nothing bad about this car. It's just basic. You know, nothing in here creaks or rattles. Nothing in here is poorly built for the price point. Yeah, it's slow, but you know, the kind of people who buy this car, they don't care. And I think that, in all honesty, as much as this car bores the absolute heck out of me, and I think most people who are probably in my audience, there is a huge market for this car, and I recommend cars like this to people all the time. Now, personally, I recommend the Mazda 3, the Honda Civic. I think those are kind of the stars of this segment, but they don't have a hybrid version. And the new Corolla, honestly, is quite good. It's kind of on the level of Mazda 3 and Honda Civic. It's just not as exciting or as interesting as those cars. Now, I want to talk briefly about the hybrid version, by the way, because I really don't understand why they made it. It really, on paper, seems almost identical to a Prius. And if it was me buying, you know, the Prius has kind of a cooler, more brand cachet in this world of hybrid cars, and it has better cargo volume. Prius is a little bit more expensive, but barely. To me, just get a Prius. And so that's the Toyota Corolla Hybrid. This car is not quirky. it's not featurey. It's not weird or special or exciting in any way at all. When someone says the term car to describe a generic car, this is the one that pops into my mind, in this color with these wheels. This is basic, simple, boring automotive transportation. And for some people, that's just fine. And now it's time to give the car a Doug score. And the Doug score is here. I don't review a lot of compact cars, but the Corolla Hybrid places well below the Mazda 3 sedan I recently reviewed, and the Corolla Hybrid gets a 10 out of 50 in the weekend categories. Abysmal, but expected. The Corolla Hybrid is a nice car with a lot of tech, but it's a boring car. But for many people, that's good enough.